Zach said, ever plan on building something to retire overseas? Good question, man. Look, I don't think I'm built, like I really thought about in depth about how I'm driven. And I've done a lot of work, I've hired cognitive behavioral coaches, I've invested into mentors, I paid people that you guys watch on YouTube like $10,000 for a 30-minute interview, right? 10,000, that's, at one point, that was almost all the money I had. And I gave it to someone for 30 minutes. So why do I mention that? I've realized I don't think I'm driven to have a boatload of money and then just like chill. I think I'd make a boatload of money, take a big risk, and then do something creative. So right now, at 26, I'm in the era of building my corporate empire, but I definitely think in my 30s, I will be more into building my creative empire. And I think Quasar is the precipitous of that, being able to facilitate conversations between different ethnic groups, different races, different religions, different decisions, the way people perceive the world. So I don't think it'll be a retiring thing for me. I think I'll be one of those people that just keeps creating. I wouldn't say working, but I'll say creating, till my final days. What's harder for you? Mila said, what's harder for you, starting or finishing? That's a really good question. I think finishing for me. I'm pretty good at just getting into things and getting stuck into them. Like for example, even Quasar, I remember, because I had a nightclub that failed. I had a nightclub called Sweet Fridays when I was 22 years old. And it failed a couple of events, and then I did decent, and then I had a falling out with a certain individual. But what I mentioned Sweet Fridays, I was relentless at Sweet Fridays until essentially all my intellectual property got stolen when I was 22. I forcefully made that venture work, even though it just wasn't working. I was trying to promote a R&B summer type of event during the winter in St. Kilda, where there's a lot of water, and a lot of the residents of St. Kilda, they go overseas at the time of the year when it's cold. So I think I'm pretty good at finishing, at starting rather, but I think finishing is very subjective. I think there's a lot of things that I had to stop doing because they just weren't winning. Like for example, with basketball. I had a decision at 23 to be like, my business is growing. Basketball is also growing. What do I pick? And I was 23 at the time, and I remember calling my friend Abby. Shout out to Abby Akintola, he's a king. And he made it really far with basketball. He's one of my essentially mentors, but also close family friend and good friend as well. And we had a 1 hour conversation, and basically I told him I think I've got to quit basketball. If I quit basketball, I'd make $1 billion. I remember telling him that, dude, I have to do something crazy in my business. If I quit basketball, I have to make $1 billion. Because basketball was such an integral part of my identity, and it got me through a lot of ups and downs, especially through my teenage years. So yeah, pretty good at starting. Finishing, perhaps that's the weakness. What's up, Ife? What's up, Scott? I hope you're well, Scott. What's up, Marielle? Mila said, if your revenue stopped tomorrow, what's your backup skill? Sales, marketing, creative direction, management. I'm very fortunate. I feel like now I'm actually quite a good manager. Like manager of salespeople, manager of closers, manager of SDRs, manager of AEs, account executives. I think those are different skills that allow me to be recession proof. And even in the technical age, I feel like I'm quite agile in my ability to adopt AI forward ventures because I've been able to, identify and integrate, AI technology in an efficient way into, our corporate entity. So I feel like I could do that for organizations that are within the small business sector all the way to the higher levels. So those are just a few backup skills that I think I possess. But in saying that, I'm still 26. So I'm also not naive to the fact that I'm still very early in my career. Irrespective of revenue, irrespective of star size, what you realize the more you grow is that there's always levels.